In this edition of Keeping It Cool, the team speaks with a pulmonologist about managing respiratory illnesses during periods of extreme heat.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
I'm here to see Dr. Scott.
Okay, can I have a seat?
Okay, anywhere?
Anywhere will be fine.
Okay, thank you so much. Breathing, something we do 1,000 times a day. But have you considered those with respiratory illnesses, how the hot and humid weather makes it difficult to breathe?
In conditions of extreme heat, one could expect that you will be losing water by that method, not simply through sweating, but also through your breathing. So an increase in ambient temperature, that is your surrounding temperature, can result in an increased demand on your respiratory system, both directly in terms of the fact that you may need an increased respiratory rate to increase your heat loss, or to kind of cool yourself down. And then secondly, it results in an increase in your metabolism, and that requires increased oxygen intake and resulting increased carbon dioxide output. So that could put a demand on your respiratory system.
Now this is a Ventolin inhaler, and for those diagnosed with a chronic illness such as asthma, then this bad boy would come as no stranger. With just a few pumps, it helps to release the restrictions in your chest. And for this summer season with hot and humid temperatures, you may not want to leave home without your Ventolin.
In terms of outdoor humidity can have an impact on breathing for persons who have respiratory conditions. And here we're looking at persons, for example, with asthma. And asthma is an exceptionally common condition in our population, affecting, I often point out, up to 1 in 5 in the population will have asthma. Other persons that humidity may affect include those who have a chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, or what most people will call emphysema, or smoking-related respiratory conditions, or conditions associated with other chronic respiratory illnesses.
Just keep breathing and breathing and breathing and breathing. You know I gotta keep on breathing.
The persons who tend to have problems with breathing as the temperature goes up, especially ambient temperature, would be persons who already have underlying lung disease, and usually those at the most extreme forms. So persons who have, for example, emphysema, and where this is severe, may already be operating at almost maximum respiratory capacity or maximum lung capacity, and therefore they do not have reserves to call on, which may be required when the temperature goes up. And as a result of this, they will notice a significant increase in their difficulty breathing, and they will recognize that they have to make more effort to breathe and may become more short of breath.
I gotta straighten out my life. This heat wave made me realize I can't go to hell.
The elderly in general may also find some difficulty because in fact as you get older, your natural reserves of your organs decrease. So someone at age 90, for example, just doesn't carry, even without significant lung disease, doesn't carry the reserves that a 20-year-old would carry. And so extremes of age, in particular the elderly, they may also have some problems with breathing because of the reduced reserves and because there's an increased demand of these reserves when the temperature goes up.
Life has its way of turning the gray skies blue.
The increase in temperature would, because of the risk of dehydration, can have a major impact on persons with sickle cell disease. And you know, in our population, we have a significant number of persons with sickle cell disease. And the problem with sickle cell disease is that it has an effect on your kidneys, which prevents you from being able to concentrate your urine adequately. Patients with underlying kidney disease also may have a problem. Dehydration has a negative impact on persons with kidney disease and can can result in worsening of their underlying kidney problems.
Now, if you're anything like me, warmer temperatures mean that you're looking to increase your liquid intake. But doctors warn that this could have an adverse effect on the body.
One has to be careful because taking in too much fluid can also have a negative effect on the body. So, for example, a person who has no underlying problem can almost drink large volumes of water or extra fluids without any problem. But persons with underlying kidney disease, heart disease, lung disease, they still have to be careful. While they may need to increase their fluid intake when the time is hot, it's not increased by any amount because they do not have the capacity to deal with excess fluids. And so if they go overboard and take in excess fluids, it can actually swing the pendulum the other way, where their condition actually gets worse because they have taken in too much fluid. And we see that sometimes in persons who make the attempt, yes, to try and compensate, but they have overcompensated for the fluid loss that they're having.
Oh, Jesus, my God.
For my asthmatics and my patients with other lung problems, the key thing, I think, is to start by emphasizing compliance with the medication. The whole idea behind the medication is to help prevent you from deterioration. Oxygen is a way of providing relief for breathing disorders, and oxygen can be started when you have a breathing disorder. And certainly if you're at home and you're short of breath and you have oxygen, you may utilize it. But I would hasten to add that if you have a respiratory condition that requires you to turn on your oxygen at home, it is also one of the signals that your condition has deteriorated, and your oxygen at home is really a temporizing measure to keep you alive until you can get proper health care.
As the temperatures continue to rise, it's very important that you take care of your respiratory health. And Dr. Scott gave us some tips on how to breathe easier and have healthier lungs during this summer season.
I'm Daniel Tullo.
And I'm April Douglas Campbell.
And this was Keeping It Cool.
With a smile.